2025 was the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, according to the UN. And this year, Canada made its own quantum leap at the G7 leaders' agenda by moving quantum from science to strategic infrastructure. It also unveiled the Canadian Quantum Champions program. Here to talk about that quantum leap from awareness and research leadership to execution and scale is Lisa Lambert, CEO of Quantum Industry Canada. Lisa, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me today, Roger.
Let's talk a little bit about the program itself, what its goals are, and where we're at with it.
Yeah, the Canadian Quantum Champions program, or CQCP, is really about pushing quantum toward reliability, scale, and broader real-world use. So this isn't a research program. It's really geared towards industrialization and commercialization. And it's focusing on a specific type of quantum computing, what we call fault-tolerant general-purpose quantum computing, and developing those capabilities here in Canada. And that's really important, as that's what's going to take us beyond what we're doing with quantum computing today, which is some of these more short, noise-constrained operations. We're focusing on more narrow problem types and being able to achieve broader use and go after some really big problems in fields like chemistry, some broader applications in finance, in materials development, in drug discovery, and a lot of those really exciting areas that have people really lit up about the field.
Now, a lot of people are trying to wrap their heads around AI. Then we throw in quantum computing, and everybody just goes, so what can quantum computing do? What could it do for industries that like you just mentioned?
Yeah, I think a helpful way to think about quantum computers as quantum computers as special purpose calculators, and they're good at specific types of problems. And some of the problems that quantum computers will be really good at, one is simulating nature. So we're able to look at chemistry, which is very much a quantum playground, and able to simulate the chemistry directly, for example, to be able to look at new things with drug discovery, to be able to significantly shorten timelines for drug development, to be able to develop next era batteries and everything that has a chemical basis to it, new catalysts for fertilizers, a whole range that way. Another area where quantum computers have a lot of strength for them is around optimization, or really complex challenge in that space. This has applications from logistics right through to the finance sector, has tons of really interesting optimization challenges. Another area is machine learning. So this has applications for AI as well, and being able to do some interesting things that way, shrink some model sizes down and accelerate some of the computation that'll be involved. So that's another area being actively explored with quantum computing. And another area where quantum computers show a lot of promise and are also driving a bit of fear is with cryptography, and being able to break through the cryptography we use today to secure our digital infrastructure. So the good news on that front is there are solutions, and there are standardized solutions that are out there, and opportunities for people to move towards that new type of cryptography, which is an active effort being pursued globally right now.
Now, there's 4 different companies were awarded money. There's so many other Canadian companies that are involved in this industry. They're taking 4 different approaches. How important is it that Canada look at different options to try and find a solution to this, or advance it, I should say? And how important is Canada to be at the forefront of this?
It's a really great question. Right now with quantum computers, we haven't yet landed on one single approach to build a quantum computer. And we may not. There may be different ways to build them that have different strengths and features for them. So CQCP, this program, is open to different types of technical approaches. And here in Canada, with our strength in quantum technologies, we do have a number of different companies that are approaching different architectures for it. So this program is approaching that, but also introducing milestones and independent benchmarking with a focus of how do we accelerate these technologies forward? How do we build these general purpose fault-tolerant quantum computers with clear pathways towards industrial relevance?
And what are some of the breakthroughs we should look for coming up in 2026?
Yeah, I think what we're going to see in 2026, I would expect, is a lot of hard work being done in the engineering side of it. So right now we do have quantum computers today. They're smaller systems. It's going to be some research and really an engineering challenge to be able to scale these up. So seeing some consistent progress towards that is something that I'm really looking forward to and anticipate in 2026. And I think we'll also see start to see some really exciting things being done in these systems, and being able to roll them out a little bit more, and working on some of the applications in different target areas, whether that being chemistry or materials, and starting to see some really promising demonstrations of what these can do.
Okay, and we're almost out of time, about 20, 30 seconds. How does Canada compare to the rest of the world and the companies that are here? Are we at the front?
You were well placed for this. Canada recognized the strategic opportunity in quantum decades ago, and we actually started commercializing in this space before most of our allies, adversaries alike, started to realize that there was something really interesting happening in quantum. So we have real strengths across the full quantum stack, not just in quantum computing, but in sensing and communications, in networking, and the enabling technologies that underpin these. So we've got a really good basis here, and we've got a really vibrant research, but also a really, really vibrant industry that's emerging, and it's an area where we can really play to win.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up there, but Lisa, thank you very much for joining us. All the best in 2026.
You too. Thanks so much, Roger.
Lisa Lambert is the CEO of Quantum Industry Canada.